So tonight is WrestleMania Night 1 from Los Angeles, and I wanted to give y'all my thoughts. I was able to watch last night's ROH Supercard of Honor. I was able to see that show, and I also watched a little bit of SmackDown. When it comes to SmackDown, I thought that, real quick, just going to get this out of the way before we get to Ring of Honor. The Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns segment was a bit of a letdown. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it was very simple. Cody's promo was good. Roman came out and just said basically, acknowledge me, Cody. And then he pretty much crapped on the fan to make sure he's going to get booed on Sunday. That was it. I was expecting a bit more between the two, but it was a bit underwhelming, and we'll see where it goes. Also, with the Hall of Fame, I love the Hall of Fame. Stacy Keibler looks better now than she did back in the day, and that's saying something. Conan's speech to Rey Mysterio was absolutely phenomenal. It was great seeing Muda out there. It was fun seeing Charlotte there in the crowd. And to her left is her husband, Andrade, who's still signed to AEW. They didn't show him. They did not show him. But you could see the beard outline like on the side of the screen, and I laughed so hard. Also, apparently Buddy Murphy was shown on camera on accident. Another AEW guy. But of course, he's married to Rhea Ripley in real life, so he's going to be there. So, ROH Supercard of Honor. Let's talk about it. This show had a lot of matches, as tends to be with Ring of Honor, and Tony Khan was the booker, but it had some questionable decisions and some strange booking, to be honest. We're going to talk about it here. I'm going to go through the matches and give my brief thoughts and, discuss the show. I'm not going to go into explicit detail on everything. It was a good show. It's hard to have a bad show with this much talent. And Ring of Honor, even though it's basically a sub-company to AEW, has plenty of great talent to make a show good. I mean, you just have good talent. I think there's still a few too many championships, and I don't know anybody outside the hardcore of the hardcore that watch the television. So I don't even know if many people are going to watch this video. And honestly, it doesn't matter because it's whatever, man. It's a video and it's content, and it's also a fun little appetizer for WrestleMania. I like the fact that TK books this show at the same time as the WrestleMania SmackDown, but he's probably going to complain that Battleground's going to be at the same time as Double or Nothing. But that's just the way it is, man. I don't think it's even going to be at the same time. I think it'll be earlier in the day, but it is what it is. Shawn Michaels did address that to Ariel Helwani. So with the pre-show, they opened up with, it's called the 0 Hour. They opened up with Jeff Cobb, Tracy Williams. Tracy Williams used to be Green Ant in Shikara. That's how I knew him best, because I got into Shikara way back when he was the Green Ant, a little bit before that actually. And Jeff Cobb gets a big win, probably getting his win back, not his win back from Kenny Omega, but a good strong win. So I think Jeff Cobb is probably going to get booked on Forbidden Door, because the fact that he came in and had that great match with Omega on Wednesday and now had another good match here, it was fine. But it was good because they didn't do everything. And that's something you got to really be cognizant of, because the match order on this show was, I'll get to it. So Nigel McGuinness came out to a huge reaction. I'm still pretty surprised that Nigel's not in NXT anymore. It's a bummer because we know Triple H used to love that guy. And I don't know how Shawn felt about him, but, they definitely had a good relationship. It's unfortunate that he's gone, but he is here doing commentary for ROH, and that's good. Konosuke Takshita versus Willie Mack. So Takashita's got a lot of talent. Right? The only issue I see with him is the same problem that happened to Wheeler Yuta and to Daniel Garcia, and that is the fact that Tony Khan, when he books these guys, and now he's doing it with Takashita, he kind of over pushes them. Like, they're on television like way too often when they're not quite ready for that yet. And I understand that he's trying to get the guy over, so I'm not entirely blaming him for doing it that way. I just feel like Takashita is, he's a talented guy, and I love Willie Mack. It actually was a bit of a bummer to see Willie Mack coming in and losing here. I think Willie Mack's one of those guys that is so much more talented than his career gave way. The fact that he hasn't been on like major episodes of Dynamite or on WWE is surprising. Like, I'm actually pretty shocked that WWE hasn't signed this guy, because he's super talented. And again, Takashita's good. He's definitely a project that they're working on. The match was good. This actually felt like a match that would be on the pay-per-view. And it was fun. It was a fun little match. Then they did Willow Nightingale and Miranda Alizé. I did not see this match. I was actually, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I was busy with I had friends over and we were doing other things. So, not to disrespect these ladies, that's not what I'm trying to do, but like, we were going to go back and watch it. We wound up not doing that. Maybe we will at some point. It seemed like a decent match. I don't know. I didn't hear anything crazy about it. Nobody was going nuts for it. So, what do you want me to tell you? Then we had Stu Grayson and Slim J. I also did not see this match. It's not really... I mean, again, I have no comment because I did not see this match. I actually wouldn't even have reviewed the pre-show except that we saw some of it. Didn't see the match. I was, again, talking to my friends, catching up. There's more to having a wrestling party than just watching wrestling, believe it or not. So I can't even give you a comment on it. It looked fine. Don't know what to tell you. So, Vincent and Dutch of The Righteous came out, and a lot of people were talking about how these guys were going to go to WWE. And I guess WWE said no, or they didn't like the deal, or, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but that was an interesting surprise. That surprised me. Then we get to the main card. Okay. I was shocked at the match order. So the match opens with what was the best match of the night. If you think that the El Hijo del Vikingo versus Kenny Omega match from 2 weeks ago was phenomenal, this match actually was better. And that was hard to do. El Hijo del Vikingo versus Komander for the AAA Mega title. Wow. This match, I don't know why it was put on this early. I would have co-main evented with this because I could not believe how insane this match was. These guys, obviously, Vikingo's phenomenal. Komander's phenomenal. This was the type of action. This was not only high-level lucha, it was next-generation lucha. Lucha Libre has always been ahead of the curve when it comes to phenomenal fucking matches. Always. Their work style, even going back to the 80s and 90s, has always been ahead as far as doing the high flying. That is what they do best. My God, some of the spots they did in this match. They did... I don't even know where to start. Komander did he did the Undertaker walking on the top ropes, but he ran to and twisted it into various different moves like shooting stars and 450s and just, my God, this is beyond just the basic, dive on the outside, the planchas. No, they were doing things that are you have to be a supreme athlete and have tremendous control of your body, even beyond guys like the Young Bucks. These guys can do things that even the previous high flyers of just even this generation have trouble doing, and they made it look easy. There was one nasty spot. I mean, dude, this was insane. There was a very nasty spot, nasty spot, where Vikingo went for the 630 through the table, the same one he did to Kenny Omega 2 weeks ago on Dynamite, and the table didn't break. It was almost like they cracked their back. Oh, that was not good. That was nasty. Vikingo hit an outside to inside ring Phoenix splash where he flipped up and then flipped over into it. I couldn't believe it. This was easily the best match of the night. There was a 630 on the apron. I mean, not 630, I'm sorry. A Canadian Destroyer on the apron, which again, that should have been the finish. The way the Canadian Destroyer has been bastardized in wrestling is kind of annoying because that was a phenomenal move when it was just Petey Williams doing it. Now everybody does it and they do it too much. But Jesus Christ. Vikingo wins the match, but go out of your way to see this. If you don't like Ring of Honor, if you don't like AEW, that's fine. This is a AAA match in Ring of Honor. And if you like insane matches, this could be the best match of the weekend. You understand? This could blow away WrestleMania. Maybe not as far as emotion, because I think that the Usos and Owens and Zayn and the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns match is going to be very emotional. But I no doubt believe that this was the best match of the week, or could be the best match of the weekend when it comes to just absolute insanity. This should have gone on later in the show. World six-man tag title match. Embassy versus AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik. It was okay, but following the last match, bro, I was like, why did that go on first? Like, the whole show has to follow that, and it can't. The Embassy won. Brian Cage got the pin. What more can I say? Like, I don't remember anything because at this point I'm still thinking about the last match. You know, this is why match order is important. And AEW pay-per-views in the past have definitely suffered from bad match order. Maybe not like entirely, but it definitely is something that is important when it comes to your shows. And even WWE shows have suffered from putting the wrong matches on early. But something like anything with Vikingo needs to be later in the show. You know, maybe not necessarily like, it doesn't have to be second to last. It can be before intermission or in the middle of the show, but putting it on first is going to kill anything else that you do right after. And this certainly did. So the very next match after this one, and again, this show was very much structured like how Tony Khan likes to book his shows, which is match, 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 match. You know, not really a lot of angles, although there were a couple. Athena, ROH Women's Champion, the former Ember Moon, against Yuka Sakazaki. This picked up the pace a little bit. Athena, I think, never really got her fair shake in AEW or WWE. Now she's being pushed in Ring of Honor. Decent match. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, again, she hit the O face. They went some back and forth stuff here and there, but I don't know if the fans really knew Yuka Sakazaki. Maybe that should have been the opener. Maybe this should have been the opener. Now we're going to get to now it was a good match, but I don't like this finish. Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe for the ROH World Television title. So here's the thing. Mark Briscoe was the ROH Tag Team Champion until this show. And a lot of us, and when I say a lot of us, I mean everybody who I talked to, said that they all thought that they booked this match so that Mark Briscoe can become the TV champion of ROH. Therefore, he drops the title, the tag title, because of the passing of his brother Jay, which is still just, I mean, the video package they showed here, I haven't even fully processed the fact that Jay Briscoe's gone, considering that I've watched that dude wrestle since he was 18. It's crazy. And we're the same age, so go figure. Almost. I think he's a little bit older than me. Maybe by like a few months. So Samoa Joe went up against him. Samoa Joe beat him. I don't like that. I love Samoa Joe. The match was phenomenal. They did, you know, just a great. Joe almost got caught in the J Driller. There was like a snap power slam, the classic Joe one. Joe hit a power bomb, and then Briscoe kicked out and put the ST Joe, that happened. Briscoe made a big babyface comeback. I was thinking that was going to be the end. He was going for the cutthroat driver and the J Driller, but Samoa Joe put him in the coquina clutch, and Briscoe straight up, passed out and lost. And I don't know if they're going to like give him the long road to the title, but I think this would have been the show to have Mark Briscoe win. And I would have also put it on later in the card. I think Mark Briscoe should have won this match. And I'm still confused as to why they didn't have him win. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that. This was his night. Very questionable, and a lot of people said the same thing. It ain't just me. I don't like that, because that was the one match on this show that was almost like an obvious. You know what I mean? That was like an obvious. You can have Joe get it back later, but no, that was an obvious. Hiroshi Tanahashi, legend from New Japan Pro Wrestling, beat Daniel Garcia. I mean, it's Tanahashi, bro. It's Tanahashi. And the crowd was not into this. I don't know if it's because it was Daniel Garcia, but when you have a Tanahashi match and the crowd's not into it, especially this crowd, dude, it's Tanahashi, man. Like, this guy carried Japan, New Japan, for many, many years. He was like the John Cena of Japan, because they came up around the same era, right? Like the mid-2000s to like, mid-2010s. Garcia lost the match. which I was happy about. I was glad that Tanahashi won. They're obviously going to build up something for Forbidden Door. I'm going to guess, and I could be wrong, they're going to do Tanahashi and Jericho at Forbidden Door because they never did that rematch from the Tokyo Dome match, which, by the way, I was at that Tokyo Dome match, and it was phenomenal. Good old school match. Don't know if I would have booked it here because of the Mark Briscoe thing. You know, people just weren't into it. Ladder match for the now vacant at the time, but now we have champions, Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. It was Top Flight, it was Aussie Open, it was the Kingdom, and it was the Lucha Brothers, and it was Dralistico and Roosh for the ROH World Tag Team titles ladder match. This was absolute mayhem, and not in a good way. Okay, or not in a bad way either. There were some insane spots. This basically tried to do what the opening match did, but with way too many guys. Like, I understand that this is I guess you can call it the crash test dummy match of the night. You know what I mean? Because they did so many things, and some of the spots were insane. There were ladders, there were tables, there was everything you could think of. It was basically a TLC match. But there was so much that I didn't remember much except for a couple things. I think Dante Martin was injured. I don't even know how to describe this, yo. They did a Canadian destroyer from the bridge ladder that was bridged between the middle rope and another ladder through two tables on the outside. And when he landed, I looked over at my friend that was there and I was like, I think he's hurt. Because he did not look good. I don't know. It was 4 tables, actually. Not even 2, 4 tables. It did not look good, man. The Kingdom, I like the Kingdom a lot. Don't know if they really belong in this kind of match, but they carried their own. I feel like it would have been better if it was just the Luchadors and Top Flight. I'm not saying that it's, you know, they should have done that, but I also feel like they put too many guys in this. It was just crazy stuff. I'm probably going to watch this match again just because, like, it wasn't boring. It was not boring, but there were so many things going on. Guys had to get knocked around. It was just complete insanity. Just complete insanity. Like, they did a spine buster, like a double spine buster onto a ladder. Like, just insanity. Phoenix won. And then FTR came out with Mark Briscoe, and that was cool. And they congratulated the Lucha Bros. So they are the new ROH Tag Team Champions. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to watch ROH every week, but I am going to check out whatever the Lucha Bros do on ROH because I love that team so much. I love that team. ROH Pure Title match. This is the co-main event. Katsuyori Shibata versus Wheeler Useless, as Jim Cornette calls him. Wheeler Yuta is another guy who is overpushed, or he was. Not so much now. I think now TK scaled it back, but they really tried to push Wheeler Yuta last year, man. They really did, and I think they overdid it. There's an art to, like, not going too far with it. But Shibata, okay, I love Shibata. I absolutely love this man. A few years ago, before his injury where he retired, I picked this guy as a future IWGP World Champion because he was on a roll. He had a hell of a match with Okada, I think in like 2017 at the G1. I don't know, the year I could be wrong on, but this dude was he was the guy. He was like the guy who I said was the future of Japan, New Japan. And then he got hurt, came back. I was excited for this. I really was. It was for the ROH Pure title. And Shibata won, which was a huge shocker because I was not expecting Shibata to win this. I'm still a bit scared because I know how serious the injury was to Shibata. Like, I'm still a little bit worried that it could happen again just as a fan of, you know, of Shibata and as a fan, or as, you know, a guy who's a human. Like, this guy, apparently he had go look up his injury. It was not like a traditional concussion. There was like major issues there. But he came out, had a decent match with Wheeler Yuta. After the match, he did the penalty kick to win. They were gonna shake hands. Yuta refused to shake hands, which is of course because the Blackpool Combat Club are now heels. Now it's going to be the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club at Double or Nothing, probably in Blood and Guts. So that was a decent match. I wouldn't have put it on this late. I would have probably opened with this. Now that I think about it, I think I would have opened with this because it's a nice bookend to have the Blackpool Combat Club open the show and then close it. I like that. And then you could have had the AAA match second to last. Because honestly, dude, like, the match order was a problem. I've criticized TK's booking in the past. It's not a major issue, but seeing it live, I'm sure those fans were tired. Main event, ROH World Title, Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston. Very intense match. This was a well put together match because they worked their way back. They started off slow and kind of worked up more and more and more and more and more. I'm not sure if they're going... I mean, we'll talk more about this in a minute, but I'm not sure if they're going to keep going with this feud. But they definitely should. I mean, well, we'll get to the promo. So, they did... And this match was a big match if you go back and watch the indies. And I was watching around that time. Shikara, CZW, Ring of Honor even. Like, these guys... Kingston wasn't in the Ring of Honor too often, but he was definitely there for a couple of shows representing CZW during that time. But, bro, the match was a good match. It was probably, to me, better. I thought it was slightly better than the Jericho-Claudio match from Final Battle. My opinion, I thought it was. He was doing the exploder suplexes, the stretch plums, all that good stuff. So, what happened was Claudio hit the neutralizer from his days as Cesaro, but only got a 2 count. Or no, I got a 1 count, I think. It was a 1 count. Was it 1 count? It was a 1 count. And so Claudio hit the other uppercut. Kingston still kicked out. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Is he going to win? Like, they were getting me here. He went for the Ricola bomb. Kingston rolled over, and then Castagnoli rolled over again and got the 1-2-3. So he won with a roll-up. Good finish. Then Wheeler Yuta came out and looked like they were going to attack Eddie Kingston, but then Shibata came out. And then they stared down, and then Yuta and Claudio left. And then Kingston grabbed the mic and said some shit like, all right, how much time do we have left? A minute? Fuck, shit, fuck, motherfucker, or something like that. It was funny. And then he basically said, Claudio, I'm still coming for you. And that was it. So, that's it. That is your ROH Supercard of Honor show. Good show. Go out of your way. Go out of your way to see that opener. Vikingo Komander. I mean, seriously, go out of your way, dude. Go out of your way. And there's a few other matches I mentioned, but really that's one where I'm going to tell you, see this. No matter what, see this match. Trust me. I'll be back later tonight to review WrestleMania 39 Saturday. Late tonight. So I hope y'all are here for that. And hey, great weekend of wrestling. See you then.